A receipt that changed everything. The scent of antiseptic and freshly stocked shelves filled the air as Lisa wandered through the aisles of Walgreens. It was just another evening, just another shopping trip, until it wasn't. Her fingers traced over the different skincare bottles, reading the fine print carefully. She wasn't one to rush decisions, especially when it came to her skin. After scanning the options, she finally picked up a hydrating moisturizer. Just as she did, she noticed another woman, tall, blonde, dressed in business casual, grabbing the same product. Their eyes met briefly, sharing a polite, unspoken acknowledgement before they both headed toward the checkout counter. The store wasn't too crowded. The line moved swiftly. Lisa adjusted the strap of her purse, waiting her turn as she observed the transaction ahead of her. The blonde woman, Emma, placed the moisturizer on the counter, swiped her card, and barely paid attention as the cashier bagged her item. $12.99, the cashier announced, monotone. Emma nodded absent-mindedly, collecting her receipt and walking away without hesitation. Lisa stepped forward, placing the exact same moisturizer on the counter. The cashier barely glanced up as she scanned it. Beep. $15.99, she said flatly. Lisa paused. That can't be right, she said, her voice steady but questioning. The price tag said $12.99. The cashier exhaled sharply, tapping on the screen as if she were too busy for this conversation. Prices change, she said dismissively. Maybe you saw the wrong tag. Lisa frowned, glancing over at Emma, who was zipping up her purse near the exit. She just bought the same thing, and she paid less. The cashier shrugged, still avoiding eye contact. Must be a system error. Do you still want it or not? A strange heat spread through Lisa's chest. The nonchalant way she was being dismissed, the impatience in the cashier's tone, there was something unsettling about it. It wasn't just about the $3 difference. It was the way her concern was being brushed aside, like it didn't matter. She hesitated, fingers tightening around her purse strap. Was she imagining it? Was this really an issue worth pushing, or was she just overthinking? The thought nagged at her. She had seen this happen before, not just to her, but to others who looked like her. Small things. Things that could be explained away if you didn't want to see them for what they were. She pulled out her money, handing it over reluctantly. As soon as the receipt printed, she grabbed it and stuffed it into her purse. A quiet voice in the back of her mind whispered, "Keep it. This isn't right." As she walked out of the store, she cast one last glance at the cashier. The woman had already moved on, ringing up the next customer with the same indifference. Lisa stepped into the night air, heart still heavy with the weight of what had just happened. She didn't know it yet, but that little slip of paper in her purse, that receipt, was about to start something much bigger than she could have ever imagined. The buzz of fluorescent lights and the faint scent of disinfectant filled the Walgreens store as a woman in simple jeans and a navy sweater stepped inside. She moved with purpose, but remained unassuming. Just another customer browsing the aisles. No one gave her a second glance. No one knew that Rosalind Brewer, the CEO of Walgreens, had just walked in. She ran her fingers along the neatly stocked shelves, picking up the same moisturizer Lisa had purchased the night before. It felt light in her hands, insignificant, yet it had exposed something far heavier. As she made her way toward the checkout, she kept her expression neutral, her heart steady. This wasn't the first time she had confronted bias. She had built her career overcoming it. But today, she wasn't here as a CEO. She was here as a customer. She reached the counter and placed the moisturizer down. Beep. The cashier, a woman with tired eyes and an air of impatience, scanned the item and glanced up briefly. $15.99, she said, just as she had the night before. Rosalind blinked. The price was wrong. She already knew it would be, but still, hearing it firsthand sent a wave of quiet anger through her. She tilted her head. That seems high. The tag said $12.99. The cashier barely concealed her annoyance. She tapped at the register screen as if the conversation itself was an inconvenience. "Prices change," she muttered. Rosalind raised an eyebrow. "Did they change in the last 10 minutes?" The cashier let out a sharp sigh. "Listen, if you can't afford it, don't buy it." Silence. The store suddenly felt smaller, the weight of those words pressing into the space between them. Rosalind stared at the woman, her grip tightening slightly around the receipt as it printed. It wasn't just about the money. It was about what that money represented. She knew exactly what had happened. It wasn't a pricing mistake. It wasn't random. It was bias. And the cashier had just overcharged the wrong customer. The revelation, a lesson in justice. Rosalind stood still, the weight of the receipt pressing between her fingers. The cashier had already moved on, ringing up the next customer as if nothing had happened. But something had happened. With a calm, measured breath, Rosalind spoke. "I'd like to speak with the store manager." The cashier frowned. "About what?" she asked, her tone laced with irritation. Rosalind didn't answer immediately. Instead, she simply folded her receipt and placed it neatly on the counter. "You'll see," she said. A few minutes later, a man in a stiff Walgreens polo and a name tag reading Store Manager Greg arrived. He looked at Rosalind with the same detached disinterest. "Is there a problem?" Rosalind glanced around. The store had quieted. A few customers were watching from the aisles, sensing that something unusual was unfolding. She looked Greg in the eye and said, "I'm Rosalind Brewer, CEO of Walgreens, and we need to talk." The words hit like a thunderclap. The cashier's face went pale. Her fingers froze mid-scan. Greg stiffened. You're who?" he stammered, blinking rapidly as if he had misheard. Rosalind reached into her pocket and pulled out 2 receipts, one from tonight and the one Lisa had posted online. She placed them side by side on the counter. She tapped them gently. 2 customers, same store, same product. She locked eyes with the cashier. 2 different prices. Silence. Greg shifted uncomfortably, clearing his throat. Must be a system error." Rosalind cut him off, her voice firm but controlled. "This isn't a system error. This is a human error." The cashier opened her mouth as if to defend herself, but no words came out. Rosalind exhaled, steady but powerful. This is how it starts. Small acts of bias. So small you think no one will notice. She gestured toward the receipts. But people do notice. And when this happens again and again in store after store, it stops being small. It becomes a pattern, a system. The tension was suffocating. The cashier's face burned red. I didn't mean." Rosalind didn't need an apology. She needed change. She met Greg's gaze. "We need to fix this. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now." Greg swallowed hard. "What would you like us to do?" Rosalind picked up the receipts, folded them neatly, and placed them in her pocket. "It's time to change how we do business." The turning point, change, begins. Rosalind Brewer didn't just walk out of that Walgreens store with 2 receipts. She walked out with a mission. Within hours, she was on a video call with her executive team. No more discussions, no more excuses. It was time for action. "This isn't just about one cashier," she stated firmly. "It's about a system that allows bias to go unchecked, that changes today." The new policies were swift and uncompromising. Mandatory anti-bias training. Every Walgreens employee, from cashiers to managers, would undergo regular training to recognize and prevent racial bias in customer interactions. Secret Shopper Program. Unidentified customers would visit stores nationwide, monitoring for unfair treatment. Any discrepancies in pricing or behavior would be reported directly to corporate. Public commitment to equality. Walgreens released an official statement. We stand for fairness. We stand for equality. And we are taking action to ensure every customer is treated with respect, because justice should never have a price tag. The news spread quickly. Social media lit up with discussions, support, and stories from other customers who had experienced the same silent bias. Walgreens wasn't just fixing one store. They were setting a precedent for all. Final scene. A new experience. Days later, Lisa found herself standing outside the same Walgreens. She hesitated. Would it be different this time? Taking a deep breath, she stepped inside. The same bright lights, the same shelves. But something felt different. She picked up the moisturizer, the same one that had cost her extra before. As she approached checkout, her pulse quickened. The cashier, this time a different one, offered a polite smile. $12.99, please. Lisa blinked. No argument. No extra charge. No dismissive tone. She handed over her card, watching as the receipt printed. $12.99. For the first time, she smiled. Her voice had been heard.